small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From the heart of Appalachia, located under a shopping mall near the city that moves mountains, you're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
What's up, Flockers?
Good morning, everyone. I hope your morning is going well, better than the Queen's. I was really worried about you when you called me there 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. So on the ship show, I nailed my computer with my chair. There's not a lot of room in here. Like
right.
It looks a lot bigger than it is. Y'all have been here. It ain't that big. Okay?
That's what she said.
So I'm like, right. So I put my computer on the other side of my desk so it's protected and like in between two hard pieces of furniture and cannot be kicked again, right? It was working at 3 a.m. this morning. Okay. It was working. All my stuff was lit up. I was doing stuff on my computer. We were set up. I come out this morning. I have nothing. I have no keyboard. I have no mouse. I have no monitor. So we're on the laptop and everything's very tiny and I'm back to a Mac now instead of a PC and everything's backwards. And I am out of my element this morning. So I do apologize.
You are totally fine. Thank you very much for, allowing us to be here on Twitch this morning and getting episode 101 in. You guys do have a format, but we may not go by that because I know you do need to take a break to check with an IT guy here in just a little bit.
Yeah, the guy who built the computer for me. We called him. I'm like, hey, it's not. If something happened, there's an orange light. I don't know. Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and get started with listener email, or do you want to? We will. Okay. Sounds good to me.
All right. This is from Luke Fugit, the 100th episode of Here to Chew Bubblegum. That is a great accomplishment. Congratulations. This show has become something I look forward to every week. The roundtable group you had this week was perfect. The story you told about the head that was kicked into the ditch because it was easier to spell was hilarious. I think I know who you are talking about if I'm not mistaken. That makes it even funnier. So far, no more strange sounds on the hills. I have a few more security cameras set up now, but no visitors yet. I plan to set up some more thermal sensors. If Boland's theory is correct, then they won't pick up anything either. It does have me curious as to what this was. If I capture any evidence of aliens, Bigfoot, or whatever, I'll send the pictures. As for the question of the week, why does our perception of time seem to fluctuate? I think when we are processing more information, we sense time is going more slowly. For example, as a child, the world is newer to you. Virtually everything you see is something you've never saw before. The world is an amazing and interesting place filled with wonder. Children perceive time as going by slower. As an adult, we have seen everything in our daily lives many times. We become complacent and fail to notice the wonder we appreciate. We start to see our lives going by faster. Not sure if this is what causes it or not. I do know that it is one of the reasons I like to build and learn new things. When looking back on the time spent, the more productively I used my time, the longer it seems to be. Anyway, my rambling aside, congratulations once again on 100 episodes.
Thank you very much. And that was from friend of the show, Luke Fugit. Luke, I know your Sundays are a little bit hectic, but we would love to have you in Bunker Studio sometimes live with us. You're a wealth of knowledge. You're one of the smartest guys I've ever known and probably ever will know. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. Yes, you probably do know the guy that kicked the guy's head because you're local to that area. One of our favorite fans, Sean, wrote in this week, and he says, man, I really enjoyed episode 100, but I'm lost on the map that you and Rebecca were talking about. Was that on an earlier episode? And I had an idea about the puddles. This is a great idea, too, by the way, guys. Won't the health department check water samples? Just tell them it came out of an old well you wanted tested. And for the longest time, I thought you worked at Kellogg's when you said you worked at the cookie factory. LOL. I know it's a long shot, but you said something about wanting to know about celebrities who are into UFOs. And I wonder if Bob Lazar still does interviews. All he could do is say is no. I'm pretty sure that he still has agents you can contact. That would be amazing. Keep up the good work, man. Well, Sean, thank you very much for that email. I did message Sean back and told him, about the Great Awakening map and I sent him a picture of it and told him to be sure to check it out. It was mind blowing. What do you guys think about having the water tested by the health department?
I didn't even think of that.
I didn't either.
Me either.
There was also another TikTok that I saw, can we just break the system? So if I just tell them that it's from somewhere and be like, I want this tested. And then I saw this other TikTok too, that if you have to go into the ER, you just tell them that you're homeless and then they can't send you a bill, but they have to still treat you.
You are correct on that. I knew that, but I had never thought about telling anybody about that. Mind blown. Mind blown big time. As for the cookie factory, that was, back in the days where I didn't really let people know what I was doing. That was kind of if you're into wrestling or stuff like that, that was a kayfabe moment where I didn't let anybody behind the curtain. Bob Lazar would be a great guest. He has said no in the past. Travis Walton has said yes, but as you guys know, I really don't believe Travis Walton's story. That's just, because he's profited and made money off of it. And he even was on a show years ago on Fox where they give you a lie detector, and he failed.
Miserably.
Yes, he did. Dirtydan, take it away, my friend.
Did you know that he is listed as a lumberjack on all sort of media sites now?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So we got Reed writing in. It says, hello, guys, and Queen Rebecca. I wanted to drop a few lines and tell you how much I enjoyed the 100th episode. The guests on the round table were great. It flowed so well and is my all-time favorite episode. It was also good to have Elliot's articles back. Is he going to continue doing it, or was it just a one-time thing? Elliot always does a great job, and I love hearing him on the show along with his spooky family. I listen to their show too, but it's something different having them on here, Here to Chew Bubblegum. It's old school, I guess you could say. Last thing before I go, the YouTube replay of episode 100 was fantastic. I love the new pictures and graphics. Take care, Roswell. Reed.
Thank you very much, Reed. Let's see. First, Elliot's articles, that was just for the 100th episode. He may do something from time to time. We have had more comments about him as well. Everybody be sure to check out the Spooky Family Podcast. But Elliot, you and the family are welcome to do an article anytime. We will play it. The YouTube stuff, thank you. Have you guys got a chance just to preview that with the new audio visual graphics that I've got and the pictures and so forth? And
I actually looked at it.
Thank you. That was really hard to put together because I actually had, and I'm going to try it again this week. I don't know.
The sound bar?
Yeah, that was, yeah. And I don't know why, but I actually had a background of a video playing a cassette tape, like an old school. It was just like a clear cassette tape. And I had some of our pictures and stuff on it. That would not upload because I had to re-edit that video like 5 times to get it to upload. And then when I did, it cut the new opening off. It cut the front off, which I was totally sad about. Maybe I can send that to Rebecca during the break on Telegram, and you could play it for our Twitch audience. But hopefully this week that will be better to get everything on.
Maybe not this. We're working with different equipment this
week.
I don't know.
Maybe next week we'll do that.
Yeah, maybe next
week.
Or
hopefully it will upload this week on the YouTube show. And last this week, our TikToker of the week, last week, Firewater, he wrote in, he said, Goose, I wanted to drop a few lines and say thanks to you and the whole Here to Chew Bubblegum crew for keeping in touch with me throughout the whole hurricane. Hearing from you all on and off through this storm kept me positive. As the storm started to uproot more of our lives, I would receive an IM from you or Bolin or a text from Dirtydan, and it would pull me out of the worry of How are we going to rebuild? What's going to be destroyed next kind of mood. I knew that I had to be strong and positive for my wife and family, and you all kept my head straight and positive. I feel really bad for people that decided to stay on Sanibel Island, Fort Myers Beach, and Marco Island. So it could have been worse for me for sure. I'm blessed that it wasn't worse for me and having you all in my life. Thanks again for being part of my family and letting me be part of yours. Your brother for life, Roswell Firewater. Thank you very much, Firewater. We really appreciate that. And I was really worried about you, man, because when it first hit, I was talking to you and you were giving me a countdown on when it was supposed to hit and happen. And, then I didn't hear from you for a little bit, so I'll reach out to you and you got back in touch with me. So I really appreciate that. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396. That's 606-373-3396. Or how can they email us, Dirtydan?
You can email Goose at heretechewbubblegum.com, Dirtydan at heretechewbubblegum.com, or Flockingqueen at gmail.com.
Real quick, Chaotic just posted about Einstein being married to his cousin, then her daughter after that. I had never heard that. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me that I've never heard of it because they keep stuff like that out of history books and so forth. Did you guys know that?
I knew about the daughter. I didn't realize he started with the cousin first.
That's
Keeping it in the family.
well,
Yeah.
How can somebody with a great mind like that do something so sick and perverted?
Well, because it's like Joe said, they want to protect. That's what they did. They want to protect the bloodlines because they think that they're fucking elite and that does something. But really, if you actually go back and follow the bloodlines and do the research, it's a false bloodline that they're protecting. It's not even. But that's a whole nother story for another time. That's a very dark rabbit hole. I don't know if we're ready to get down this morning.
We got the email out of the way. Do you guys want to go to segment one, or do you want to take a break and try to get your IT guy the information he needed? What do you guys want to do?
I mean, that's our call.
I mean, we can take a break really quick, and I can just take a picture on my iPad and just send it to you in Telegram. If we want to just keep going, because we're only okay. The show.
All right. Hey, that sounds good to me. So we'll keep on going then with segment one. And sorry, there was something too that I thought about this morning that I may talk about briefly this week to let you guys and people on Twitch do a little research if they need to.
Hang on. Yes. I want to address a comment real quick.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
So just Mike 22 says, how come DD's computer always seems to work, but 138's doesn't? Well, Mike, I don't even have a computer. I have a little laptop, but it's a tough book. It is guarded with thick rubber, hard plastic shit around it. It's literally meant for technicians. So I can drop it on the floor by accident and it should come out pretty unscathed. The computer itself does work. I have a camera, actually the same one Shitmess had last week for her one and only time on here. And
wait. Why did you say one and only time? You don't think she'll be back?
I mean, I think she'll be back, but I think she kept the box to send the camera back. So we'll have to go through that whole process again for next time.
Well, yeah. And I actually did text you, Shitmess, and you have never responded. Shame on you. Shame on you.
But I have internet issues. I do get internet issues. But that's the difference between us. What eight's the queen up to? Oh, she is getting me a picture so I can send it to our IT guy, the one who built the computer.
But I'll go ahead and then I'll get your guys' opinion on this. And I want everybody's opinion on Twitch and everybody listening to the podcast. Please, email, leave a voicemail. If you don't want us to play a voicemail on the show, say, hey, don't play this on the show, and we won't. Earlier in the week, I had talked to the Queen about a few things, and the topic of religion came up. That's something we don't really talk about on this show a whole lot. Now, Friday night, as I was going to bed, I was instant messaging Justin Perkins, and the topic of religion come up. Now, back about 2 years ago, I was on Facebook. This was before I started, even thought about starting here to chew bubblegum. I was on Facebook and I was looking, and there was this little ad that said, "Hey, become an ordained minister now through the Universal Life Church." So I clicked on this link, and I actually filled out the stuff to be an ordained minister. It took like 5 minutes or less. Now, I've never ordered anything from this. They have clothing, they have IDs, they have certificates. You can actually become a ordained Jedi Knight on this website. Themonastery.org, I think, is the website address. But anyway, after talking to Rebecca and Justin this week, I went back and looked because there was somebody needing somebody to marry them. And I mentioned that I'm an ordained minister. I can legally marry people in the state of Kentucky. So I went back and done a little research on the Universal Life Church. Now, this church is also known as the ULC. When I started doing research, I was really intrigued by their two things that they encourage their members, their ministers, anyone to go by. And those two things are, and I was really intrigued with this. Those two things are, they want you to do which is right and not harm yourself or others. Now, by what is right, that does not mean that, if I think something's right and you think something's right, we accept each other's belief. That does not include like a pedophile or something like that. Yes, Chaotic, you can actually sign up and be a certified ordained Jedi Knight. And they also believe that every individual is free to practice their religion. However, they as long as their religious beliefs do not infringe upon the rights or freedoms of others. And, they're not breaking the law. Now, that would be, to me, when I read it, that would be morally breaking the law. Now, the Universal Life Church was founded in May of 1962 by Kirby Hensley. Now, he has been described as a crook and a shyster on some websites, and he's been sued. He's been, he's not perfect. But this church accepts all denominations: Christian, Jewish, Mormon, pagan, Wiccan, Baptist, and atheist. And they encourage all these people to join. Now, their motto is, "We embrace individuals across the spiritual spectrum. Anyone who wants to join our body of faith is welcome to do so." Furthermore, the ULC is proud to open its doors to all people, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, race, their ethnic background, or any other defining characteristics that defines that person. They accept everyone. Now, they say that their mission speaks to you or other people, but they embrace naturally endowed power as our message is to embrace you naturally endowed as a unique child of the universe. Dirtydan, what's your thoughts on that? What's some of your thoughts on that on Twitch? Rebecca, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I just have a lot of questions about this organization, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
So, because when I saw the email, I was like, oh, what is he going to talk about in terms of this? So I pulled it up and, oh, come on. And started. The other thing that questions me is, like, with my VPN on, I never get asked for my location.
Okay.
When I hit the ulc.org, it keeps asking me for my location every time I touch my screen. Every time I touch it. But one of the ones that I have a question on is how they can do a universal marriage license.
Well, it's not necessarily a universal marriage license. New York and Las Vegas does not accept being ordained through the Universal Life Church as a minister. You can't legally marry people there.
Because they have their own.
Yeah, well, they have other laws and so forth.
What if you're Elvis and you get ordained through the ULC? Anyway, I digress. Where is it here? All right. If you go to the info about the church, which is what you were talking about, where they have the two core tenets, I'm assuming that they must uphold.
Yes.
Go down that page and hit the button that says legal victories.
I didn't do that. What was the...
It starts off with a Martin Luther King Jr. quote.
Okay.
It says, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." It starts to get a little weird.
Okay.
And then it talks about Universal Life Church versus Utah, which is a whole cult type deal in itself.
Okay. All right. There. You use the word cult. Okay. And I'll say something on that in just a minute.
Cult.
It's a whole occult type thing itself. If you look at that case, Goose, what are you going to say to that?
Look at what case? The case of them being saying that they're an cult.
Yeah.
Okay. They could be. People could say that the flock is a cult. Okay.
By definition, it technically is, and yes, I'm the proud leader.
Okay. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because of their acceptance. If they really practice what they preach and they accept everyone, regardless of their gender, sexual orientation, race, ethnic background, or other defining characteristics, and they truly believe that we are all naturally empowered as a unique child of the universe, that appeals to me. If they truly believe and follow that, and they don't judge people, that appeals to me. Yes, Rebecca.
I have a question.
Yes.
If they, so here's where I'm going the other direction with all this.
Okay.
If they truly believe that, and they believe that everybody has this innate ability to be a sovereign being and of their own accord, right?
Uh-huh.
Why do you need to be ordained in the first place? Like, why do we need to participate in this societal standard to have some piece of paper that says that, yes, I can legally do whatever the fuck it is that I want to do? That's the part that I'm not understanding.
All right. That is a very good point. And from the research that I have done on that, some people say that, because like the Kirby guy died in 1999, they say he was a shyster, and he, sold the, papers to be, that were legal to do the legal ceremonies. You can also do funerals as well. There's instructions on their website on how to do funerals, how to start a church, how to do a wedding ceremony. Now, today, from what I have read, and I just briefly looked at this because I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. They sell the stuff today, number one, to maintain the website fees, and then they donate the rest of it to charity. Allegedly. It's what they allegedly do. I don't know if this is true. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I saw the Jedi Knight thing, I thought, these people are full of shit. They're just trying to make money. And that could be the case. But all I'm saying is, if there was more establishments in the world today that did accept everyone based on whatever religion they did, and they did not try to tell you, hey, that's wrong, you can't do that. And if they did truly think that everyone was unique to the universe, and, you know, they encourage you to do what's right and not impose your beliefs on somebody else, the world will be a better place. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
You know, I do find that, and I'm going to be honest, when I started reading until I read the Jedi Knight stuff, and then I was a little bit let down. I thought, maybe I could start a Church of Fonzie. You know, that's Family Guy episode. But, you know, I thought that after, yes, I thought that after I read the Jedi Knight stuff. But, you know, and I wanted to talk about it just to make people aware of it. And I wanted to let people know that this is out there. I'm going to go back and sign up to be a Jedi Knight myself. But, you know, just those couple of things that I mentioned, if the world did that today, it would be a much better place, you know, if it followed that. Now, and it's hard to, you know, I will give you my opinion on someone. I will not judge that person. To me, there is a difference giving my opinion on someone or what they've done versus, you know, judging them. I do not do that.
Is there like a background check or anything for this?
No. You could go on this website, Rebecca, and you could be an ordained minister in 5 minutes. Now, but to legally, you know, and then this is man's law, to legally be able to do certain things, you know, you would have to buy like the certification to, you know, prove in the state of Kentucky that you can legally marry people. But how cool would it be if you did that to marry somebody at Flockfest next year?
Goose.
Oh,
No.
the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning.
Is it the smoke? Do you see the smoke?
Now, Maypo
Shit,
8.
and I both went to the same place too. We're both like, wait a second though. Hold on.
Maypo 8 made the comment that she had worked with some people in that were ordained through the ULC. Do you, yeah, and the wheels turn. What were they normal after that Maypo, or did they talk about it? Did they do it as a joke?
Well, I think it was to like be certified as like for Reiki.
Got you.
Like, and I know, and that was my comment was like, I thought that's what the insurance was for. Cause like as an animal equine and canine massage therapist, when I was doing that actively, there was a special like insurance for body workers, for animal therapists, for Reiki workers, anything like that. Like there's a special insurance so that I'm covered and the animal that I'm working on is covered if anything were to go sideways. So I don't know. I didn't know, like I'm certified, but it's through a separate program. It's not got anything to do with fucking church.
Right. Well, I am an ordained minister. I'm putting that out there. I've not spent any money with this organization because if I'm going to give to charity, I'd rather give it local where I know that people are using it. I'd rather give it to people that I know are benefiting from it. I'm not going to give to, Red Cross or, places like that, the Salvation Army. Now, and people may argue with me that that's wrong. I'd rather help out locally in my community than donate it to see where it's really going and who's benefiting from it. But I just wanted, Dirtydan looks really cute in his hoodie. I asked him before we got started if he got ET back to the spaceship okay, and he said yes, that he did.
Can we just admire his new background for a second? I worked really hard on putting all those books back on that bookshelf.
His new that makes him look smart as well.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, look at all of these books that people can assume that you've read through.
But, I just wanted to bring that up. The Universal Life Church, make people aware of it, get your guys' opinion on it. And like I said, if anybody's listening to the podcast, please email, please call, text, leave us a voicemail. If you don't want us to play the voicemail, hell, I'll transcribe it and turn it into an email. So,
wow.
Yes, chaotic. Wow, what?
The chaotic comment and then Rebecca's reaction. And I'm just Wow.
Hey, looking back on it now, if I knew when we got married what I know now, we would have not gotten married. We would have done it to completely fucking different. Completely different.
What does that even mean?
Exactly.
There you go. She answered you. So, did you guys have anything this week? Because I have something else that I want to bring to everyone's attention.
Well, to
be honest, I didn't look at the format. I got the emails printed this morning, and that's as far as I got.
You're totally fine.
So, do we remember, before the whole pandemic happened, when Tom Cruise was supposed to go to space?
I did not hear about that. He was supposed to go to space.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was supposed to go to space.
Briefly remember hearing something like this floating around somewhere.
Well, it was true. And then 2.5 now.
Okay.
Or 3. It was October 2019 he was supposed to go up. And then shit happened and with SpaceX and got pushed back, and it was supposed to be like March of 2020, and then the pandemic. So during that time they were still trying to push so that about this time last year he'd be going up. Well, it's now turned into him pulling his Hollywood strings to be the first civilian to do a spacewalk on the International Space Station, and he's going to make a movie about it.
Oh, wait. He's going to go into space, and he's going to do a spacewalk on the International Space Station.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's got a couple big names attached to this to make it happen, which would be director Doug Liman, Lyman, and Donna Langley, which is the head of the group Universal Filmed Entertainment. Of course, Elon's on board for it since they're going to the space station already now. But they're looking at within a year and a month. This is going to be happening like by November 2023.
Okay.
Says I'm the comments on TikTok. I guess he's going to play himself in that movie.
This is literally, and this is his quote that he got people on board with. It is the move to get the movie industry back to pre-pandemic levels.
That's never going to happen. That's
never
going to happen.
Because we're the entertainment now.
Yes.
People don't want to see weird Hollywood occultist fucking satanic ritual bullshit live. They want to talk about it instead.
I mean, if you take a look before the pandemic, the movie industry was already dying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all. Now, I have a few questions about this, Dirtydan.
Yeah.
And if you know these, please answer. Okay, for one, if he does a spacewalk, that's totally fine. Okay. Now, I've dabbled in movies and films and filming stuff and editing and all that stuff. Now, you can do a lot in post, especially nowadays, which means if you get some basic footage, you can come back and do a lot with it. But even today, when you film stuff, okay, and if you want it to be visually good, you have to have people working the lighting, people working the sound. Now, I can understand in space, sound really wouldn't be an issue because you could do that after the fact, after you've got the footage. I would love to leave him up there. Yes, all of the YouTubers did change the game. But did it say anything in this article if he was going to have a small crew with him? I mean, hell, you would even have to have a director, telling you.
So the director is going with them.
Okay.
They still have one seat to fill to make this a complete team.
Okay.
Let me tell you this first. Maybe this will answer the other question. God, she's losing her mind out there.
She's playing with Xena. I have her on the camera.
So the majority of the film will take place on Earth.
Okay.
And then the character needs to go up to space to save the day.
Okay.
So they are, it's literally a movie based on crews taking a rocket ship up to the International Space Station. He's going to take the world to space. And this is directly from the Universal Film Group's chairman, right out of her mouth. I don't know if it's going to be another Mission Impossible. I don't know what, but that's what it's saying there. They have 7 people so far. They're looking for the 8th, not including him, as a team to do this spacewalk.
Now they are going to have like train people up there to like oversee and doing the not behind the scenes stuff, but just making sure everybody's safety and so forth. Correct?
Well, I mean, it's not like you're going to an unmanned space station and there's still the normal group of pilots and whatnot that will be on the SpaceX ship.
Oh, okay. I just had a thought. Okay. Tom Cruise is weird. Okay. He's into the Scientology and all that. And
there it comes.
You don't know much about that. And there was something the other day and I had briefly skimmed over it. I just saw it in passing. Is it true that he has fell out with the Church of Scientology?
I know there were issues.
Okay.
And the one actress from King of Queens was a big part of that. If I remember correctly, and I'll look this up and I'll report back next week, I believe he started his own Church of Scientology after that.
Okay. I wonder if he got ordained through the Universal Life Church. But anyway, okay. Let's say he does this, and the church that he pulled away from, what if they do, for real, cut his lifeline when he's doing the spacewalk?
I mean, it's tiny Tom Cruise. All I have to do is hold his breath and come back.
Oh no. If they cut your line, you're not coming back. You're floating away.
Unless he really is the clone and he doesn't need oxygen to survive. I'm just saying. There it is.
Well, and there's still some people in Louisville that have posted online that went to high school with him when he lived in Louisville and went to high school and graduated there, that, he was arrogant and just cocky back then. And he's like 5'1", 5'2", 5 foot.
He's got Napoleon syndrome. Yeah. That's why ponies are assholes.
Yeah. And he, wears lifts in his shoes. More power to Tom Cruise. Let him do that. I do not think that this, would jumpstart Hollywood back to putting out the big shitty pictures that they did before the pandemic. It's not going to happen. I
think it's going to bankrupt them.
I don't see how they're still continuing right now, to be honest with you. I really don't, I mean, there's only years ago. I used to be a huge TV watcher. Used to be a huge TV watcher. And this was like 10 years ago. I would get off work. I would come home. I would turn it on TNT. I would watch Law and Order till like 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8 o'clock. I would try to, start winding down and going to bed, and I would turn it to the Weather Channel, and I would leave it on the Weather Channel because that calmed me, that relaxed, and I would do that, and there was like, hey, it's Monday, I'm going to watch this, Tuesday, I'm going to watch this. Now, there's like a handful of shows that I watch, and that's it. I have got into the new Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I've been watching that. The new Quantum Leap continuation story, I do like that really good. And I think that's pretty much it. Just those two. I did like Better Call Saul, but it's over. I mean, there's not much that I watch.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
I don't know what's more sad, you're singing or that you actually knew those lyrics to that song.
Let's make a night we won't remember. I'll be the one you won't forget. Listen, I love Kesha, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here's my thing though. Now, with this Tom Cruise story, the first thing I immediately went to is the never-ending fucking franchise of Fast and the Furious, because the whole FF10 was supposed to be about going to space and some shit. Are we gonna see Vin Diesel photoshopped on the fucking Tom Cruise's body doing a spacewalk too to save the fucking car day?
Probably. And I will tell you right now, I have never watched the first Fast and Furious movie. Never. I've never watched the first one. I
stopped watching them when I there was only so much I could take, and when The Rock made his way into the series, I was like, yeah, no, it just, because I knew it was going to be a whole bunch of fluffed up, shoot 'em up, bang bang drama shit, not about the cars anymore. The first one truly was about the cars. It brought a lot of awareness and popularity to the car scene. And then the second one was kind of cool. It was a cool take on it. It wasn't such a cool storyline with the fucking drugs coming out of Miami and whatnot, but and then the third one came, Tokyo Drift, and that one was a little far-fetched, and they ruined a good Mustang putting a 2JZ into it, or was it an RB26? It was some JDM motor. And then the fourth one came out, and then Fast 5, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. And it was quiet for a while because, Paul Walker's untimely quote-unquote death.
Right.
And then they just continued on with his brother and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, they should have stopped. They should have just stopped.
Like I said, I've not, the last movie I saw in theaters was the Ghostbusters reboot, which was pretty good. But now I read that they're going to be doing another Ghostbusters. I don't really know how I feel about that. But like I said, I don't watch a lot of television. I watch stuff on YouTube. I watch TikTok more than anything, and if there's something that interests me on TikTok, I take that subject, I do research on it. I'm like, wow, but that's, she's cracking me up. She is
loud this morning.
She is hilarious.
Living her best life right now.
There is nothing wrong.
I want to say so. I hear you, and I used to be like right there, like I'm not watching none of this stuff, like we're not doing this anymore. But doing the Flocker Flick Fridays and like the movies every week, and kind of going back and watching these again from this different perspective and this different understanding. Holy fuck, everything is just right out there in front of your face, and you're like, wow, like completely missed that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I am enjoying like just having that time and like going back and watching some of these movies. But other than that,
all right. Since we have a bunch of people here speaking on that, does he keep his job in What a Woman Wants?
Dirtydan was very perturbed by the ending of that movie.
The one movie that needs a fucking sequel.
Okay,
I need answers.
All right.
Okay,
who is in this movie?
Mel Gibson. What Women Want.
Oh, okay. Is
what's her face?
Where he hears what they're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the end of the movie, right?
Okay.
He gets the girl, but because she now got her job back as the creative director, she's like, well, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm firing you, so you're fired. And he ends up like getting the girl and everything like that. But Dirtydan was like, well, did he? Was she kidding? Did he really get fired, or did he keep his job? I'm like, does it fucking matter? And that's what you're stuck on.
Yes.
I have not. I've saw that years ago, but it's been a while.
Shit mess. He wasn't even the creative director position.
Yeah, but remember, because his boss was like, she's already gone. It's yours. You sold them.
And he said no.
And well, yeah, but it was already done on the paperwork and the board side. So are we really dissecting this movie right now?
Yes, because I need answers, damn it. It's
gave
unsettling.
For her, he didn't keep his job. He didn't want it.
Yeah, but how do you know he didn't keep his old position?
Because she said she was going to fire him.
Dirtydan, whatever storyline you want to go with, yes, he did. He totally did. You know what? He did. He went back. Everything was hunky dory and just as it was before.
But you're lying to me now, so I'm still not okay with it.
But that is the beauty about watching a movie or television show. Each person can interpret it different, especially when it comes to an
sugar
ending
mama
like that. So,
but was HR really like that in the 80s and the 90s?
I think more so now than it is today with like the fucking love contracts.
Yeah.
Like back
totally
in the
agree
day,
with you.
that was the thing. Like you couldn't date your superior.
Well, there's a lot of places now that still frown upon that.
Yeah.
You can't do that, or if you do and you work at the same place, you can't work
You
the
can't
same
be in the
schedule.
same department.
Well, or you can't work the same schedule. Like somebody have to work a day shift, somebody have to work a night shift. You know. So they keep it like that. This turned into great conversation. I want to mention really quick that Hubs messaged me a week or so ago.
Helen Hunt. That's who it was. Thank you. Sorry.
A clip where Roddy Piper says, "I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum." I'm like, yeah, man, that's how I got the name for the show. I love that movie. And he said that him and Shitmess was going to watch it. And I'm like, well, be sure to let me know what you think. Now, that is a movie, when you go back and you watch it, it really wasn't really successful when it first came out. It has gained a huge cult following and hit, for a movie that came out in 87, 88, to watch it today, you'll be like, shit, John Carpenter that wrote this, he saw the future. He knew what was going to go on because, you can watch it. And like I said, it was close to it was 20, how many years ago? 22 years? No, 30.
No, more than that. I was born in 90. I'm 32.
Okay, so
40?
So yeah, and you can go back and watch that and you're like, shit, the stuff that this movie's talking about is happening today or it could happen. And
how about Blazing Saddles? Just like that.
Now, okay, no.
Really?
You're not going to have stuff that happened in the Blazing Saddles movie happen
With
today.
Will Ferrell?
What?
Wait, what? Blazing Saddles? What movie
Blazing
is that?
Saddles is from 1974 with Mongo.
Great comedy.
I'm thinking of something.
I feel like
of its time.
And I'm not saying Blazing Saddles is nearly as popular or ever was, but it was also kind of a dud when it came out.
Yeah,
and then it only really started to get attention and attraction really when the whole race war started in America.
And that movie was way ahead of its time. How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart? It smells like you've had enough beans. That's an hilarious movie. You go back and you watch Steve Martin, The Jerk. That's a hilarious movie. That also battled racism. And, and that one's still hilarious today. Both of those are. Take the movie Back to the Future. I'm sure everybody saw that. That is one of the movies to me that you cannot remake. I mean, yeah, you could, but you're going to be wasting your money because it's just not going to work. I mean, they captured lightning in a bottle when they made Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. You just can't remake those. And so, do you want to take a break, Rebecca, or do you want to keep going? We've been going for about 50 minutes.
Yeah, we can take a break. He's going to handle.
Okay.
Xena ate her snack, so
he's
going to handle that. We can take. You want to take a 10-minute break, and then
we will
come
take
back. I have
10-minute break. Yes,
I have the new question of the week and some of the responses from the last one.
That sounds good to me. We'll be back in 10 minutes. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Diving down the rabbit hole while we take a break. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with Goose, Dirtydan, and Rebecca. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. I have a new podcast entitled Beyond the Paranormal which is on every Tuesday night on Beyond the Paranormal YouTube page, and we'll be streaming shortly on our Facebook page as well. If you want some information on the paranormal and cryptids such as UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, come and check out Beyond the Paranormal every Tuesday on Beyond the Paranormal podcast YouTube site, and also soon on our Facebook page. Keep checking back, folks. We're going to have a lot of great guests, a lot of great information. Have a good one.
For Here to Chew Bubblegum News, I am Goose. Discovering even friendly aliens could have some real risk for humanity. Science fiction is the realm where people traditionally wrestle with the ideas of conflict with an extraterrestrial intelligence. But now those discussions are migrating from science fiction into more mysterious realms. Academics are going back and forth, one paper at a time, concerning the response and geopolitical fallout from potential contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. The discussion is interesting whether you think it's likely or even remotely possible that humanity ever contacts an extraterrestrial intelligence. And it might tell us more about humanity if it does. A new paper entitled Geopolitical Implications of a Successful SETI Program is the latest paper which thinkers are going back and forth. The paper's three authors associated with institutions such as NASA, the Penn State ETI Center, and the Department of Philosophy at Spring Hill College and the Harvard Law School. The lead author is Jason T. Wright from Penn State University, and the paper has been accepted for publication by the journal Space Policy. A team of 86 scientists from 13 countries have recently carried out extensive high-time resolution optical monitoring of a distant active galaxy. The BL-LAC is the galaxy, and Mike Joyner, BYU research professor of physics and astronomy, was one of the astronomers contributing to the project. Dr. Joyner and a undergrad student from BYU secured over 200 observations of the galaxy using a 0.9 meter reflecting telescope at the BYU West Mountain Observatory. Their measurements were combined with observations made by other scientists around the world in a collaboration known as the Whole Earth Blazer Telescope, or also known as WEBT. The WEBT network makes it possible to monitor objects around the clock from different locations at different times of a high variable. Using the WEBT observations made in the summer of 2020, astronomers discovered surprisingly rapid oscillations of brightness in the central jet of the galaxy BL-LAC. The scientists attribute these cycles of brightness change to twist in the jet's magnetic field. Their study was recently published in Nature. A battle erupts over alleged grisly photos of brain-hacked Neuralink monkeys. A California university is refusing to release a cache of grisly photos of monkeys reportedly injured during experiments testing Elon Musk's Neuralink brain implant technology. This in spite of a lawsuit aiming to force the school's hand. In a press release, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, or known as PCRM, group said that it had learned that the University of California, Davis is in possession of 371 photos of the experimented monkeys that were subjected to Neuralink tests, which took place at the school's laboratory. Earlier this year, Neuralink admitted that a fifth of the 23 monkeys it used to test its brain hacking implants had been euthanized after developing infections and malfunctions, bolstering PCRM's credibility. That admission come in the wake of a complaint filed against Neuralink. Now, PCRM says it learned that UC Davis is in possession of hundreds of photos depicting, among other things, the experiments performed on the monkeys. After filing a lawsuit against the school in February over its shielding of the photos, which the university argues are their property, Ryan Merkley said in a press release that the UC Davis thinks the public is too stupid to know what they're looking at, but it's clear the university is simply trying to hide from taxpayers the fact that it partnered with Elon Musk to conduct experiments with animals that suffered and died. The internet has been bamboozled by a 162-year-old painting where a woman appears to be holding a smartphone. Take a look at a Friedrich George Watt Muller's The Expected One, and you'll immediately see a woman in the center of a painting walking through a scenic landscape to a man awaiting in the bushes holding a pink flower. Through the 21st century lens, it may seem as though the woman is scrolling through her iPhone while on her walk, but obviously that wouldn't make any sense since the iPhone was not released until 2007 and the painting was completed in 1860. The girl in the painting is not playing with her new iPhone X, but is off to church holding a little prayer book in her hands, said Gerald Weinpolter, CEO of an art agency in Austria. Peter Russell, a retired Glasgow government officer, was the first person to shine light on the painting. He told Motherboard that he and his partner saw the painting this summer while visiting a museum in Munich, and he had to know more about it. And finally, this week, you can buy Jeffrey Dahmer's urn for $250,000. You heard that right. You can buy Jeffrey Dahmer's urn for $250K. It may cost an arm and a leg, but with interest in Jeffrey Dahmer skyrocketing thanks to the Netflix miniseries, and entrepreneur is cashing in on a craze by selling the serial killer's alleged urn along with other Dahmer possessions. The Milwaukee Monsters ash vase is the rarest true crime item I have ever seen on the site, said Taylor James, who runs the Vancouver, Canada-based true crime Murderabilia Bizarre Cult Collectibles. His spine-tingling site also sells a smorgasbord of artifacts associated with notorious alleged murderers, including the Yorkshire Ripper and the acquitted O.J. Simpson. However, Dahmer's urn is by far the most expensive, running prospective buyers an eye-popping $250,000. This has been the news with Goose. Have a great day.
Take a lighter look into the darker side of the world. Join Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle as they jump into the dark abyss of hauntings, fables, UFOs, and beyond. The Spooky Family Podcast. You can find them where you listen to quality podcasts.
She's been called crazy. She's been called a cult leader. We call her Rebecca. And you're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
There's a man going around taking names. He decides who to free and who to blame. None yes is getting treated all the same. There will be gold in the ladder for each of them down. When the man comes around, all the hairs on your arms stand up. Hit the terror, you need to sit, you need to sup. You partake in that last offered cup, or will you disappear in the potter's drought? When the man
And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. You've got myself, Goose, with the queen of the flock, Rebecca. We're waiting on Dirtydan to get here.
Dirtydan is dealing with the chickens right now, so he's He's coming. He's
Okay.
coming. I was like, we'll start it back up, and I'll join him in when he gets here. So
That sounds good to me. I had some good discussions going on in the Twitch group during the break there. I've been sitting here
just
watching a lot of them. And you know, I want to say this based off some of this, and I'll let you get started to your question of the week responses and so forth. If you have kids when you're young, you're going to do things and you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up a lot. When you get older, you will look back and you will realize that, you know, time went by too fast and that you did the best you could. And, you know, hopefully you have raised someone that can fend for themselves and, you know, be a contributing member of society and have the same cores and values that you do as well. I think about that stuff a lot, you know, and I may not be saying it exactly right. Hopefully you guys understand it, what I'm trying to say. So time goes by too fast, really fast. And I'll give you an example really quick. When Johnny Cash did his version of I can't think of the name of it. It was the song that Hurt is the name of it. When he did that version of that song, and I saw that several years, 20 years ago, I thought, wow, you know, this is a really good masterpiece, you know, for him to sing at this point in his life. And then he died like a few months later after he put that out. I listen to it now, and it means a lot more to me, you know, especially where he says he would trade everything that he had, you know, basically he would trade everything that he has to go back, you know. You can have his empire of dirt, you know. Just do the best you can, you know.
And I want to reiterate what Karma said too, and we talk about this a lot, is you can't beat yourself up, and you can't be guilty with yourself and be mad at yourself for things in the past that you didn't know that you know now. You weren't at that space then. You didn't know those things. You weren't at that level that you're at now. So you can't go back and beat yourself up over that stuff. You can't be mad at the past you for not knowing the things that you know now.
Exactly.
And that took me a while to like wrap my brain around and understand.
I always understood that, but I tried not to think about it. Over the past probably 8 months, I've been thinking about that a whole lot, you know, and there's, you know, that's why, you know, I get on to Luke Fugate about building that time machine. You know, I mean, just go back and just, you know, make things different. But, you know, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
And I think there's so much that, and it's true, like you're like that saying, and I used to get so pissed off about it, but it's 100% true. You're not going to understand until you have kids. Like there's something inside your brain that fucking it snaps and goes the other direction. Like those instincts, that primal thing, like it's different when you have kids. Like something changes, right? And when you have kids, like those growth opportunities and those milestones, like not only are you raising this tiny human, but you're also going through this whole growth transformation yourself. And I think that's why we have kids. That's why we do this, is because they're that direct reflection of us. And if you take it seriously and you actually do what you're supposed to with this, then that's that opportunity for growth for you. Right? Like I have grown so much since I've had Shar, like so much. And I wouldn't have had that growth had I not had her.
My moment of growth really started in probably 2010, 11, you know, when I finally, because, you know, people used to say hurtful stuff about me. And when this got back to me, that really bothered me. You know, my kids were really young at the time, but I got to a point, and that's when I read the Cherokee Indian quote about, you know, religion is for people who are scared to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there. And I made a decision right then that I'm like, that's how I'm going to start living. And when I started doing that, I started growing and changing, and my outlook started changing, and I started being more happy inside because I wasn't worried about what people said about me. I could care less, I said last week I got a little bit of heat about some comments I made in episode 99. I stand by those comments. I stand by the ones I made last week because I'm going to be honest and tell you, I have been screwed over and stabbed in the back more times in my life by people that work in law enforcement than don't, and I don't know why that is. I guess who knows, but there have been 0 people that I have brought into my life that have stabbed me in the back and screwed me over the way people in law enforcement do, and I'm not saying everyone. Over, my 26 years, there's been like 4. So, Dirty Dan, welcome back. Let me ask you a question, Dirty Dan. With Halloween coming up, now we are going to be taking a break on October the 30th, and we're going to have a very special show that day. It won't be live, but, we will be having a very special show. But before we take a break, and I just thought about this, and we could even do it after Halloween.
So James said, when you realize hell's just a graveyard for people who are so vile their names should not be remembered, you grow a lot. That graveyard is in Israel, so I can't go to hell because I don't have a passport. Touche, sir. Too fucking shay.
And Chaotic said, all bullshit aside, having my daughter made me change the way I look at women. Exactly. Because, I could go on and on about that, but all I'm going to say is I totally agree with you. Dirty Dan, if I buy you a Care Bear pajama outfit, will you wear it on the show?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm going to have to remember that. And what's your size?
Good luck finding anything in 3XLT.
Okay.
Good luck.
Well, see, you put that LT behind it. I'm not going to be able to find that.
And stuff like that, you literally got to call my boy Omar, the tent maker, up and get like a 7XL for it to be tall enough. Now, I'll be able to fit like 3 other people in there with me, but for it to be tall enough, it's got to be a stupid size.
Yeah.
Well,
just FYI, if you're searching for Dirty Dan things, you gotta yeah.
Got to have the LT stuff. Large and tall, right?
Yes.
See, I've never had that problem. So
I know. I'm still waiting for you to grow up.
I was waiting on that. Hey, brother, my mom still to this day goes to the little kids section to buy her shoes. So, and she always has.
Must be fucking nice.
So.
What were you going to ask me now? You had to ask me. Was that the Care Bear thing?
That's the Care Bear thing. You sitting there with the hoodie and people saying you look cute. I was thinking how cute it would be if you were in a Care Bear costume with the ears and stuff, but I'm not going to be able to find an LT one, so you might as well forget that.
Goose, I'll send you some stuff.
Okay. All right. Good.
That worries me.
Why?
When she says, I'll send you some stuff and has that look on her face, that worries me.
What look? I don't have a look.
Rebecca, so go ahead, Dirty Dan, go ahead.
I know that segment 2 is news.
Yes.
But
you can bring up anything you want to, brother. This is your show too. Since
we're talking about, especially with the ULC thing, if everybody would just be fucking nice. This article fucking infuriated me for a hot second, but I'm so proud and glad that his family is doing this and carrying themselves the way they are for him. So down in Gaston County, North Carolina, there is a 51-year-old man who worked at a Wendy's for a little over 22 years with Down syndrome.
Okay.
the most loyal, the most longtime employee. And all he wanted to do was have a huge retirement celebration in about another 2 years. And some new manager came in and fired Peak. His name's Dennis Peak, because he, quote unquote, wasn't able to do his job like a normal person. That pissed me off so bad. And like they did it in such a way, like the gentleman doesn't even understand that he's fired.
Right.
So his sister raised all sorts of hell, and Wendy's apologized and offered his job back. They got rid of the manager. And Dennis's sister said that her brother will not be returning to Wendy's. And in fact, they're now going to have an even bigger retirement party for him to celebrate it.
Good.
And Wendy's basically made the offer of not let us know, but this is what we're going to do as an apology from the company. And they are sparing no expense to make sure that his day is special for him. I feel like that is a good gesture by the company. However, maybe the better gesture would be to screen your people a little bit fucking better before you put them in a position of power. Because gentleman served over 22 years there loyally doing his best effort day in and day out for 22 point something years. You'd think you'd treat him with a little more fucking dignity and respect than come in and because he's different, fire him.
You know, I often wonder what people get out of being mean or cruel or, you know, doing something underhanded or shady to, you know, their fellow man.
He got a job there because he liked the way that Wendy looked.
Right.
Like, was all about it. And his only dream in life, she said, was for him, all he ever wanted to do was retire from Wendy's.
Yeah, that's, you know, I could, like I said, dude, there's so much stuff that's been happening lately that I could go like another hour. Just, I mean, as a matter of fact, I had something happen this week that pissed me off at first, and I think it's funny now because I could care less. There was actually a number associated with this, and I actually thought about calling them on the show and just, you know, being like, hey, you know, this is Goose. How's it going? Why did you do this and it? And I thought about doing that. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, it would be funny and great content, but I'm not going to do that because they're going to have to live with what they did to me, you know, and how they, you know, screwed me over, because it does not bother me one bit. I don't lose any sleep over it. I actually had somebody yesterday that I thought I was pretty close to that didn't even speak to me that I saw. And I even spoke to them, and they just totally ignored me. So you know what? I have the big number one finger for you. I could care less, you know. At the same time, I'm the type of person, I was raised this way, that if something ever happened and this person truly needed my help, I would help them knowing that they, you know, screwed me over, because that's how I was raised. So, you know, does that make me stupid? Yeah, probably. But, you know,
I don't think it makes you stupid. I just think it shows that there really are many drastic different types of character out there.
Yeah, well, you know, I will say this, there's a lot of things going on with this certain group, and when it does get to the point that karma's going to start paying them back, it's going to be like a house of cards folding, you know, just boom, 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 you know. So, and I'll be here to see it, you know. So that's I'm like Forrest Gump. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
How did you spell Mr. Peak's last name? Is it P-E-E-K or P-E-A-K?
It is P-E-E-K.
Okay. Rebecca, moving on to question of the week responses from last week's question.
So, yeah, last week's question was, Why does our perception of time seem to fluctuate? And hold on a second, I gotta pull them up here. Listen, I'm on a different computer this morning,
Hey,
so you gotta bear with me.
You're totally fine.
Okay, so CERN is messing with things they shouldn't be. Maybe what's going on in our life or head, how focused we are on what, some things you lose a lot of time. Routines and repetition. Time is a man-made construct, therefore it's perceived differently by the perceiver. I agree with that. The more information you take in, the faster time goes because you have less time to think about time. Because time is just an illusion based on perception and everything actually happens simultaneously. Yes, I agree with that one too. It's deeper than time being an illusion. It exists not as linear. The past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously. Yes, because when you're in a high vibration time, energy speeds up. Low vibration does equal the opposite. Time is just a measurement. Our brains take shortcuts and don't record at all, especially when it's fun. I think it largely depends on what we are doing. The more interesting or fun something is, the more it holds our attention and focus. And because silly time flies when you're having fun. Exactly. Because time is simply a box we've created to structure our existence and control where our energy goes. So that is, oh gosh, I've lost the stream now. There we are. Okay. So yeah, and I did a lot of research on this, and actually I wrote a piece, and I don't know where it went, but
is it on your computer?
Probably. Kozyrev did a study on time and actually found out and was able to put like data behind it that our thoughts influence the density of time. And I've never agreed with anything more, because it does. Like, time flies when you're having fun. And if you're sitting there constantly like, oh my God, I can't wait, right? The universe then always says yes. So you're going to constantly feel like you can't wait for whatever to happen. That's why it's I'm excited for and not I can't wait, because that energy, the way that you think about things, is going to manipulate that. Simultaneously, yes, time is a man-made construct that, first of all, they've changed it, so it shouldn't exist the way that it does. Time isn't linear, which is why clocks are round. Okay, clocks are round. Time is not linear. It is all happening now, the past, present, future. And also the fact that we don't operate on military time. So in our brains, we automatically assume that we have less time because we're on a 12-hour day and not a 24-hour day.
Wow. Never thought about it that way.
Oh yeah, I've done a whole deep dive on time.
That's very impressive. Golf clap.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
I know that was a lot.
Mind
like,
blown.
With questions, I can break that down for you.
I always love talking to you guys and doing this live on Twitch and getting their feedback. And I look forward to this every Sunday morning because there has not been one show where I've not walked away from where I have learned something new. None whatsoever. And thank you both for that. Thank everybody on Twitch for that as well. Thank you. So that brings us, do you have a new question of the week?
I do. Oh, and then I do want to talk about Chaotic's comments.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please.
So the new question of the week is tech, and I'll make a video for this. Is technology helping or hurting meaningful conversations?
Ooh.
Or communication? Communication. It was communication.
That is
so is technology helping or hurting meaningful communication?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's hurting.
Is it? Because we're having a meaningful communication right now.
Yeah, but like, just look at most of the conversations between you and I, where
which ones?
It's changing when we send shit or blocking us from I'm looking at what part hurts and what part helps more. Yes, this platform we're on is allowing us to do this. It's helping us. But when it comes to a personal level, it's hurting us.
Because I do agree. Like, I'll send text messages. I read my shit.
Right. You and I both do.
I read my shit before I send it.
It's happened right in front of us.
Yeah. And it changes after you send shit. And it does it all the time to me on fucking TikTok. Fuck you, TikTok, and your stupid spell check. First of all, they took the spell check out of the title, right? So you have to like really make sure. And then I've also noticed a couple times too, like, I'm big on your, there, right? Like I'm a fucking English major, okay? I just posted a video and it changed one of the words, and I'm like, oh my God, like it's so fucking frustrating. And I do believe that is done on purpose. And since they turned on off, up, down, CERN the last time, I've noticed that like the autocorrect, it changes what it autocorrects to. Like it used to autocorrect to home. I'm on my way home. Now it autocorrects to gone.
Okay.
So like it's changed not only what it autocorrects to, but then it's changing it after you send it.
Yep. And like for anybody who doubts that, she and I have sat in front of each other and literally typed something out, watched it, hit send, and it literally comes through different.
Yeah.
It literally changes in the fucking interweb cyberspace bullshit out there.
I have saw that too. I mean, that's not happened to me. I've saw that. I don't proofread stuff until after I send it. So most of the time I fat finger stuff, you know. I think like, you know, people in Twitch, it's all how you use technology. I think sometimes it can really hurt communications. There can be a huge misunderstanding with the intent that's meant behind the text. I think there's cases like the flood that we had back here, you know, that affected our state, you know, a few months ago. If it wasn't for technology with people's phone lines, you know, because they have landlines back here, people's landlines and their cell service was down. But, you know, even though their cell service was down, for some reason, they couldn't make calls. And I don't know what the reason is, you know. It was the greater being looking out for people. There were people that could not make calls or send texts, but they were able to get on Facebook and ask hey, has anybody seen my mom? I'm here. I need help. You know, and you have case after case after case that I read. It benefited people like that, you know. I think it just depends on how you use it and what your intent is.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. And like what James said, a couple comments up too, where, you know, sometimes it holds messages for hours before it actually sends it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
Or like it'll, and you know, I know it fucks up. My phone does not like talking to Android people, but then other times it goes like that to them quicker than an iMessage will go to someone else. Like, again, I can literally send her a message. We both have service. We're both getting other text call and anything, and I'll send it, and it'll take minutes or hours before it finally comes through. Right next to each other, just to see, and nothing.
Gotta love modern technology, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to address like Purple Princess's comment. I don't know if there's something about like the elites or anything like that, but I like choke. But I will say this, that will start a fucking fight. If you text me back K and not okay, and like spell, especially between me and Dirtydan, like other people, that's fine. That's how you talk, whatever. But like between me and Dirtydan, like that's a fucking thing. Like that's the, if you text me back K, why are you pissed? Why are you pissed?
Gotcha, is my trigger.
I can understand that.
But like with other people, that's fine. Like certain people text K, I'm good with it because that precedent has already been established. But between me and Dirtydan, you text me back K, I'm fighting you. We're gonna fight.
What about KK? That's
fine because that's with other people. It's not with us.
KK worries me because it's too close to KKK. That's what Purple Princess just said. First world problems. Yep.
Yeah, my texts don't work good. Yeah. So is technology helping or hurting meaningful communication is the question of the week. And then I wanted to talk about, where was it?
Chaotic's comment. It was way back up.
About sleep. We've
Okay.
had this conversation before. Is like, I think, first of all, the mattress stores are a front for something. There can't be.
Oh,
that many.
yeah,
People
yeah.
could not be buying that many mattresses for all of them to stay in business.
There's never
Especially
anyone in any of these stores.
right?
I know.
Never.
So, and then like, we're not supposed to be sleeping for 8 hours a day. We're supposed to sleep in these increments of naps. Like, we're supposed to be up between 2 and 6 in the morning. Like, that is our most productive time. And then we're supposed to take these short little 3 to 4 hour naps and not sleep for a full 8 hours at night. So now we're convinced that we have to sleep for 8 hours a night as adults, right? Not children, as adults. And now we're on all of these sleep medications. We're overdosing on fucking melatonin and fluctuating our body's schedule to stay on this 9 to 5 routine, right? Because if you don't get 8 hours of sleep, you're not going to be able to do your 9 to 5 job. So I completely agree. I think the 8 hour sleep thing is complete fucking bullshit and used to keep us disconnected and stupid.
They stole our siestas.
Well, you know,
And
and
yeah, and if you go to other countries like in New Zealand, they will stop school for 2 hours during the day and you have tea and rest.
that's
You have tea and rest
that
because
sounds
you
good to
need
me.
to shut down. Yeah. China takes naps midday.
they, you know, for the last month since I have hung the gum belt up, I go to sleep at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I am up most every morning before 5 o'clock. Sometimes, well, like yesterday, I woke up at 3. So I got up at 3 a.m. I did not go to bed last night until 11. I got up I take it back. It was like midnight last night. I woke up at 5:30 this morning. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. It's like my stress level went from here to here, you know, because I hardly take any Tums, headache medicine, anything. I mean, it's, you know, it's totally different, and I'm loving it. So,
I do agree. Like if you actually take the math out, I think Joe did a video on this like several accounts ago. Like I remember it. Like if you take
I remember
an
that.
8 hour day plus your commute, right? Plus your sleep, plus like you add in homework and you add in like having to do, you know, if you do sports after school or you do the school program or whatever else, like you literally only have like a very small percentage of your actual life to live.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. They want us to be tired. They want us to be complacent. They want us to be drunk. They want us to be addicted to synthetic pharmaceuticals. Like they want to keep us in this state. Life shouldn't be lived like that. Our life should not be meant in servitude like that.
Well, I mean, you know, one thing I've discovered since I've been, you know, I mean, I average 4 to 5 hours a night. There may be the occasion where I sleep 6. I've not slept 8 in the last month, but it's like I get more stuff done, number one. And it does honestly feel inside like I'm participating in life. I am enjoying life. I'm not just rushing to do this and that. And, you know, and I have been very busy with stuff. But, you know, I mean, I told somebody joking around earlier in the week, I'm like, I'm thinking about going back to work because it wasn't as busy when I was working 40 to 60 hours a week. You know, I was joking, but, you know, I've been well, I mean, which that's good, but I feel like a different person. I had some, you know, people asking me why I was letting my hair grow out, why I was thinking about getting, you know, sleeve tattoos. Number one, you know, because I like it. I want to. Number two, I don't really want to look like a cop. I don't want people to look at me and be like, "Cop, you're a cop." I can tell by your haircut, the way you look, the way you stand, the way you know, some of that stuff. I mean, you know, my youngest stepdaughter got on to me earlier in the week because, you know, I was driving her home from basketball practice, and I've always got the habit of before we turn off the little side street to our house, I always take my seatbelt off, and it aggravates her to death because the alarm in my truck starts going off. And
it's been a habit for how many years you were in law enforcement. The moment you know you're coming to your destination, usually 150 to 200 feet before you are unbelting and getting ready to Broden Park to get out and do what you got to do.
Yeah, and she asked me, she said, "Why do you do that? It automatically starts dinging. That bothers me so bad." And I said, exactly what you said. I said, hey, it's a habit. I'm used to, having to do it real fast, load up and park, jump out. It's just a hard habit to break, So
you're excited to get home.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm the stoner. I have a whole process. I need 12 minutes in my truck. We need to select a song. I got to smoke a bowl and a cigarette before I go in to do whatever it is that I need to go do. I got to
And she has the opposite problem, Goose. Is she struggles to take her seatbelt off sometimes and tries to get out with it on.
But it's just little things like that, and it's like, I mean, I'm a totally different person, and it seems like I say that a lot, and I know I said that last week. I really am. I have grown so much. I look at things so differently, and I love the way that I think about stuff now. And I love the way that, my outlook, the way I treat people, I love all of it. So, most accidents happen within you are exactly right. You are exactly right. Most accidents do happen within a mile from home.
Yep. So, I can attest to that.
Dirtydan, our TikToker. Well, wait, before we do that, did you want to talk about Chaotic's comment that was back up just a little bit?
We did, about sleep. That's how we got
already
here.
did.
Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about his other one about the children in Thailand.
Oh, no, but I did want to address this, though, because we were on the subject of Halloween, and somebody was talking about the candy, that they're, lacing it with fentanyl and shit.
Oh, they've been doing that for years. It went from needles to actually just putting the drugs in.
I know, but I just want to reiterate this, because apparently it's not even people doing it. It's the companies that are doing it. Apparently, I don't know. I got to do some research on it, but there were a couple people talking about it in the chat. Can we just collectively as a society just stop giving out candy? Can we give out other stuff? Because all that shit, first of all, it's not even good for you. It's just pumped with fucking chemicals and processed bullshit and red dye 40.
Says the girl who's got a box of Reese's to bring with her to hand out for Halloween.
You brought them home. I don't want them in my house. I didn't go out and buy them. I didn't go out and buy them. You brought them home.
Right.
Let's start there. This is your fault because you wore a shirt. Okay.
Okay.
Well, people
don't give away free drugs.
And you never once pay for drugs.
So that's why candy's gotten so expensive.
Here's the deal, though. And can we talk about that for a second? Because
Reese's are the exception.
They are the exception.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was getting ready to say as well.
Weakness.
They're my weakness.
Now, if anybody can find me peanut butter fucking Twix,
they don't make them anymore.
My way. There's got to be some fucking front store somewhere that has candy on the shelf from 1948. Okay, they got to have peanut butter Twix. I want it. Send me.
They weren't around in 1948.
Listen though, so the DARE program. Do you guys remember that in school?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
To keep kids off drugs. When have we ever been offered? Nobody's ever come up to me and been like, "Hey, do you want some drugs?" It always involves something else, but never has anybody just randomly come up to me and offered me drugs.
I actually taught DARE at one point for a little brief period of time. My thought was on that. And there's more. I mean, if you notice, the DARE program's dropped off a whole lot. You still have people do it, but, and I was in my early 20s. I thought, this doesn't make sense because this is teaching these young kids what drugs to do.
All about it. Yeah, about it.
So please look at Shipmess's comment.
Hey, and that's the same thing, and some schools still do it, some schools don't, but it has dropped off a whole lot. There's not as many, doing it now as there was, and I thought, this is telling these kids what to look for.
And that's just it, because it's the whole the forbidden fruit, right? Oh, don't do this. Well, now I want to do that 10 times more because you told me I can't.
Exactly. Oh, ours was a big cocaine dealer. Hey, that and that goes into a whole nother avenue of people that, I don't know. Dirtydan, TikToker of the week. Who is the TikToker of the week this week?
So the TikToker of the week who I picked is gonna be Mr. Ryan 4913, aka Hambone. I don't think he's in here today. I don't know if he's in the TikToks or not. I saw him live in Telegram, but
I did too. As soon as he sent who it was, I saw him send a fucking message in Telegram. I was like, oh shit.
So that guy is TikTok of the week for a couple of reasons. First, when we got to meet at Flockfest,
great guy.
Yes, he is.
Absolute great guy. He everybody that was at Flockfest enjoyed the cooking. He brought some very special wood that I was able to use for smoking. So thank him partially for the great food.
So I will say, the two of you are like roughly the same size and build, okay? And you both got the beards and like the scrappy hair and stuff. So with my terrible vision from across the field, from the back, I was like, hey, yo, boo. And he turns around and he goes, I am not Dirtydan. I'm like, no, you are not.
Yeah, that guy is something special, and he'll always have a little special place in my heart. It's like my big or little older brother kind of deal. And
who's taller?
I am. And yeah, that was his first words was settling that. But you know, he's been one of the longest supporters out there in many different ways. Just all around an amazing guy. Can't wait to have him come back and crack that tequila bottle open with him. So Ryan Hambone, here's to you this week, buddy.
TikToker of the week, Ryan4913. Before we leave, I want to remind everyone to check out Just Listen on YouTube, Cooking with Dirtydan on TikTok sometimes, and be sure to check out Rebecca Short on TikTok. You can find her with user ID Flockingqueen and Queen of the Flock 138 on Twitch. Dirtydan, take it away, my friend.
Well, and as always, don't forget to excuse me. Check out a couple friends and supporters of the show. Till Valhalla Project, Goose's absolute favorite to say. He's been practicing. He's wearing the shirt right now from them. You know, don't be afraid to spread that tough message. Help support the awareness and spread awareness. And it's just a simple conversation to be able to have. And you never know what you'll do to help someone struggling. Don't forget to check out DJ Nikki. Apparently I have to say DJ Nikki so Goose knows it's Carbon Capture Shield.
That was just last
CarbonCaptureShield.com. You can see what they've been up to over in Africa. They've been making huge strides in Africa and Europe. And that will be coming this way sooner rather than later, I hope. And then AdventuresWithPurpose.com. Look them up on YouTube, Adventures with Purpose. They are always needing help. They're always looking for tips to help bring closure to communities and families. Just say hi, show them some love. Or if you know someone or are in a situation yourself, don't be afraid to reach out to them. Jared is a very, very kind person with lots of good intent in everything he does. And that is why everything is not cost to anyone affected by it. They will come out and they will do their absolute best and damnedest and pull all the resources they can to help you. So go ahead and give them a shout. Go give them a look. Show some love.
And that'll do it for this week. But remember, we all have a voice. If we stand together, we can make the world a better place. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Bye, Flockers.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.